Why, hello there.
You are so sexy today, Bubbers.
This is Bubbers.
Bubbers, what are you doing?
Oh, I did not mute that. Ooh, there we go. Okay. What is this? Entrepalooza.
Oh, it's some Entrepreneur ad. Did you guys get an ad? What did you guys get an ad for? Oh man, I'm still sick. So for those of you who are joining us for the very first time today, we hang out for the first 10 minutes of every stream. And if you received an ad today, lucky you, yay, because we recently got monetized and our ad revenue is actually, we've decided what that's going to go for because we wanted to make sure that it goes towards something for the channel. We are going to be upgrading to, what's the video? What's it?
Premiere Pro.
Premiere Pro for our newer videos, but we still have to figure out how to use it. So that's where
we use Premiere Elements now, so it shouldn't be too much different from what we already use.
So when you watch our ads, just know that you are helping to give us the pennies to pay for this relatively pricey program. How much is it?
$300 a year. And that's just for that if we don't get the rest of the video suite.
I don't know what package we're going to go with yet, but I also want to get him an online course on how to use it because I'm going to be turning all of the video editing over to him.
YouTube is fine. I'll just watch YouTube videos.
Bubbers, what are you doing? Are you saying hello to YouTube? You're being very inappropriate. Hi, everybody. Hello, Shay. Yeah. You guys are going to have to excuse me. I might sound bubbly today. For those of you who follow my Instagram, which if you don't, I posted a funny picture of Bubbers a few minutes ago in my story highlights. But for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you might be aware that I had one of the worst allergic reactions to food that I've ever had, which is crazy because up until a few years ago, I had no food allergies. And we went to an Indian restaurant. I got the same thing that I always get, chicken korma. And right after eating it, I broke out in full body hives that lasted for several days after just getting over a really bad, it started as allergies, but then it turned into a cold and it was just awful. So Bubba,
he's scooting himself across the floor.
He wants you to hold him. You're wearing your Whiskey and Cats shirt. And
Come on.
Go on, go to daddy. There you go.
There you go.
But anyway, so if I sound a little bit gross, that's why. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see the lovely picture of my full body, not full body, but, you know, some of my nasty breakout that happened. And for everybody who wished me well, thank you. They are gone. The hives disappeared after about 3 days. And for those who offered advice and suggestions, I appreciate it. But just keep in mind, if I were to follow all of the advice that everybody gave me, I would end up like ODing on something because there was just so many suggestions. But we pretty much know what it is. And we are going to an allergy specialist very soon. So we already called them. So that's, you know, in the making. But hello, Faye and Lindsay and Courtney and Kay and Kathy. Yes, I'm feeling a lot better. I need to... Will you stop it? I'm not delicious. Stop it. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about some do's and don'ts for your ad photos to get you ready for the holidays. Now, one thing that I noticed when it comes to ad photos for handmade businesses is there's just so much focus on the product itself, when in reality, there's a lot more that you should be focusing on rather than just saying, hey, here's my thing, buy it. Because ultimately, there's a lot of reasons why that just doesn't work anymore. And I'll be getting into that very, very soon. I do want to make a few quick announcements. Will you please stop it? Few quick announcements. If you guys missed it, we did upload our fan mail unboxing video. This is our third one. We uploaded it a few days ago, so be sure to check that out if you want to giggle, if you sent us anything. And if your product that you've sent was not in that video, we probably have it. It's just that video was recorded at the end. You are bugging me. At the end of last month. So if for any reason your product wasn't in it, we do probably have it. It just didn't make it into that video, and it will be making it into the next. We will not be holding a giveaway this cycle. I guess you could call it, because most of the products that were sent were for us and they were personalized and I can't put them in a giveaway. So we'll probably wait until we accumulate enough to do a big box like we did for our last giveaway, because our giveaway winner was just so excited. And ultimately she ended up with this massive gift box of products. So super duper exciting.
What?
Oh, everybody's saying that they're glad to hear I'm feeling better. Thank you guys. Other than my kind of nasally voice, you're gonna have to deal with that today. Another thing, for those of you who have been wondering, Handmade Alpha Academy will be opening in December. We're not going to be talking too much about it until that point, but I do want to give a few shout outs to some of our Handmade Alpha Academy students who may or may not be here today. Paula Haas released her collection this week, and let's see, Serenity by Yelissa. I don't know if she's here, but she released a collection today. And Metals and Pieces released a collection this week, or I said today, this week, over the weekend, last weekend. But Paula in particular, I want to like shine a big spotlight on her. We did a Q&A with her a couple of weeks ago where I think it said, one of Etsy's biggest skincare sellers answers your questions. Be sure to check that out if you haven't had the opportunity. She has been like one of our favorite interviews so far. She is fantastic. And her brand is Clean and Dirty Skincare, CLN and DRTY. Her products, for one, she sent some to us in our unboxing video, and they are just fantastic. But she launched her collection and ended up making more money after launching that collection than she did last year during like her Black Friday sales. I believe that she rang in at $1,000 by the end of like the single day, like the first day of her launch. So huge congrats to Paula. I cannot believe how awesome, she did so great. And Yelissa also, I attended her pre-launch party. And she had never really like gone live in her group for a pre-launch style party like what I teach. So to see somebody else doing it, it was really, really weird. I wasn't able to go to the Metals and Pieces pre-launch party, unfortunately, but all the ad photos, if you guys want to follow them on Instagram, their ad photos have been fantastic. So let's see. Oh, and Amber. Yeah, Amber also paid off. Amber Marie, you can see her down in the comments. She paid off her Handmade Alpha Academy fees. And what, Amber, you've only been in for how long? When did you join? You joined in June, right? No, June, July. When did you join, Amber? I can't remember. But anyway, Sonora K Creations. My summer collection ends tomorrow night. Hard at work on the next one. Super duper exciting. We can't wait to see it. Yay! Oh, since June. Yeah, so you haven't even been in that long. And I know that you're kind of taking things slow too, because you've already got such an awesome business model and a waiting list for your products. But anyway, guys, we got about 2 minutes before we dive in. I do have notes that I'm going to be reading from this video. I always throw out that disclaimer because there's always somebody who leaves usually a comment in the replay, not the live. But they always say, oh, you're reading from notes. Well, yeah, I'm reading from notes because I will forget everything that I want to tell you guys.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Most vloggers typically have a list of things they're going to talk about. We're not reading from a script. It's just a list of stuff we got to talk about.
Right. Otherwise, I will forget. So, and I actually wrote this all out like 5 minutes before we started just because I didn't want to forget. So I just jotted all the topics down. Amber Marie, oh, and I made $2,000 in one day. Oh, girl. Do you feel better, Starla? I do. I feel so much better. I'm still like sniffly.
We're still both kind of hacking stuff up. Whatever we had hit us pretty hard.
Late summer allergies are always the worst. Jacqueline, I have 30 listings to make for Etsy and my website. That's like the hardest part, is getting all those listings ready. And you got to do it times 2. I love your website though, Jacqueline, even though he was one of those like exceptions to the rule where he's just like, I just rather shop on Etsy. Because, well, I mean, we already have Etsy accounts, so it just kind of made things easier. We have about 1 minute. Let's see. Oh no, how dare you write and read your own notes. I know.
I know, right? If like every president ever is able to read off of a teleprompter, I think it's okay if we just sit here and have a couple of Post-it notes.
The thing is, what will happen if I don't have notes is I'll forget something really important, and then right when we end the stream,
Right the second I hit the stop broadcast, I'll go, oh wait, and it'll already be too late.
So I do want to throw out a quick disclaimer about last week's video while we still have a minute to talk about it. Oh, it looks like it's noon on the dot, but I'll go ahead and throw this out now.
Oh.
Last week's video, it looks like Etsy actually changed their policies in 2018. I believe it was February of 2018.
I
Either
think so.
February 2018. So there is a small disclaimer that I had to add to our last video, but I want to go ahead and do it here. You cannot throw in non-handmade products that are not an essential piece of your item, the primary item that you're selling. So for example, what would be acceptable when coming to, bundling products, as we talked about in last week's video. If you missed that, feel free to go back and watch it. But for example, Amber Marie, she makes prints of her artwork and, she does sketches. So if she were to bundle a frame with those and she wasn't, a master woodworker who makes her own frames, that would be fine. However, the example that I used where I said that if you make bracelets and you bought some earrings for a bundle, that's no longer allowed. That was just updated this year. I must have just missed the update. You can still do these bundles if you make the products or if the product is an essential piece of your primary product. It just can't outshine the primary product. For example, if Amber Marie was selling her prints, but she made a totally separate listing for the frames, she wouldn't be able to do that, but she can use those as an add-on. So disclaimers are out of the way. If you want to read more about that, I do have an extra little disclaimer posted with a more detailed description on last week's video. Be sure to go back and watch that. But today we're going to be talking about ad photo do's and don'ts, because I cannot tell you how many ad photos that I see, like from, just in the Etsy community and in some of the bigger Etsy groups that actually allow advertising, unlike the Handmade Alpha Facebook community, which is linked down below if you're not a member. But for those groups that allow advertising, sometimes I just scroll past these photos and I'm like, what is this person even selling? Like, I have no idea what this ad is even supposed to tell me.
You mean like the sleep company that has been advertising using a picture from a very adult movie?
Oh yeah,
of a woman's face of a very, very popular actress. And if you go into the comments, everybody is posting like, I know who this is. Like,
yes, there's a sleep. It's a mattress company, right?
Yeah, I don't remember who it is. It's a sleep company. They sell mattresses and pillows.
They decided that they were just going to find a stock photo of a woman sleeping. No, she's not sleeping.
She is not sleeping.
She is not sleeping. It's just a close up of her face.
And it wasn't somebody that's not super popular. It's somebody that everyone in that industry is aware of.
Do you think they did it on purpose?
Probably. I doubt they had permission. But
everybody in the comments was like, about that. So
everybody was like sleeping.
This is why.
I'm sure somebody's seen it. It's on Facebook.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
I've scrolled past it, but it's a
paid ad. It's not like people sharing it. It's a paid ad.
But man, make sure that you use stock photo sites and maybe don't just find Google images of women that appear to be sleeping.
She didn't even appear to be sleeping.
No, she did not appear to be sleeping. She was getting a great night's sleep. She looked so happy sleeping.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. Guys, if you got my email today, you'll know exactly how many ads a day a person is estimated to see.
Shut up, Amber.
Let me know. Let me know in the comments real quick if you got my email, or if you just happen to know how many ads on average does the normal person see in a day. Let me know down in the comments if you got that in my email, or if you just happen to know how many ads a day does the average person see between Facebook, radio, magazines, newspapers. 5,000, exactly. 5,000 ads. Now, the thing about that is you might think to yourself, I don't remember seeing 5,000 ads today, but there's a little bit of psychology that I'm going to kind of throw in here. With ads, the thing is, our brain cannot process all of that information. There's no way. So here's your psychology lesson of the day. Our brains actually filter out some of this content that we see. And if that sounds sketchy to you, think about the last big road trip that you took, okay? Now, if I were to tell you to tell me about all the scenery on the way there, Would you be able to do that? Would anyone here be able to tell me every detail about the scenery, every single blade of grass that they saw on the way to their destination, we'll say like 3 to 6 hours away? Could you remember all of that? I'm just going to assume that the answer is probably not. And that's because our brain grips onto the pieces of information that it sees and processes that are relevant to it. So when it comes to the 50 billboards that you might see on your cross-country trip, you might only recognize or even remember an ad that is relevant to you, something that you personally connect with, something that really grips you, okay? So the problem that we have now as sellers is to say to ourselves, okay, if most people have learned to process this information out, they've just kind of learned to ignore it, not even glance at it, which I'm sure we can all relate to. You don't stare at every single ad that you see and say, wow, that's interesting. You know, most of the time you scroll right past them or you don't even notice them. We have to ask ourselves, how the heck can we make our ads stand out to these people? And a big part of that is obviously knowing your target market. When you create the type of content that they're going to connect with, they're going to recognize that. There's a hair floating around. They're going to recognize that content. They're going to see it and say, hey, this particular type of post is made for me. Give us an example of purple mattress.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to take a drink of this.
Some of you guys have probably seen the Facebook ads for purple mattresses where they're using Tim and Eric now.
Tim and Eric, awesome show. And if you guys don't know what that is, after this video, or
look at it.
Pull up just pull up a tab for YouTube, type in Purple Boys mattress. And if you don't know who Tim and Eric are, this post is not—
Be prepared. It's really freaking dumb.
It's not— you are not going to know what you're looking at. It is going to be the most confusing ad that you've ever seen. But for people like him, I think
what do they call them? The sleepy scaries?
The Sunday scaries.
Sunday scaries, yeah.
So if you guys watch that ad and it doesn't make any sense to you, you're not the target market for that. People like him, I think it's stupid. I've never liked Tim and Eric. I've always thought that it was just completely idiotic.
Somebody said I want one. I don't typically recommend purple mattresses because I've had issues in the past. I can't say what they are because they have a really good habit of suing YouTubers who say bad things about their mattresses. So
Google problems with purple mattress, and then you'll
just
find
look
out
up
what
purple
it is.
mattress and issues. I can't even say what the issue is because they just immediately sue people. But
is it just USA for what?
For what?
For what? For the 5,000 ads a day? I think that's people like on.
I think it's like a global average,
right?
And I think honestly, if you're a heavy social media user, it's probably double or triple that.
I'll Google it. Hey, thanks. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about how we can kind of stand out to the right type of people. That purple mattress example is hilarious because those types of ads stand out to weirdos like him who see it and can connect with it and know exactly who those two, really goofy, I don't even want to say actors. I don't even know what you would consider those two dudes. It's just so out there, but that connects with him, and people like him will see that and say, hey, I want to connect with this brand. And it's
in the same genre. If you know what avant-garde music is, it's the same thing with comedy. It's avant-garde comedy. It makes no sense. You have to be on a certain level of open-mindedness when it comes to comedy to be able to accept what it is, because it's very abstract, makes no sense. It's different.
I look at it and I think, wow.
She hates it, but I love it. I think it's the most funny thing ever.
I watch it and I'm like, wow.
Especially after you've had a couple of drinks, it's the funniest thing on the planet.
Oh, I was gonna say like stoners will probably just sit and watch it. Like,
that's who it's for.
That's great, but it's just so goofy. I don't know, but
the two blokes are. It's Tim and Eric.
Yeah. It's, oh man. But anyway, guys, let's talk about some of these do's and don'ts. That way you can jot them down. And then at the end, if this is your first live stream, you can ask any questions. Are we talking about they're kind of comedians, but not really.
Not really.
They're just.
We'll continue on.
I consider it so stupid that some people think it's funny.
It's not appropriate for kids either, so don't turn it on in front of your kids.
The Purple Boys is.
Purple Boys probably is.
Yeah. Anyway.
The show is not.
But anyway, it's genius marketing. It's just I don't like it.
Christmas special.
So
we watch it every year.
Let's talk about some do's and don'ts for your ad photos. Okay. First, obviously, this one is a no-brainer, but yet, even though it's a no-brainer, I see it all the time. Don't use dim, blurry, low resolution photos for your ads. And that doesn't mean, that when you're looking at it on your computer, hey, this looks fine. It might look fine at that particular size, but then you upload it to Facebook and then it looks like poop. I think that we've all...
Facebook compresses pictures, so...
Right, exactly. So just make sure that your photos... I think on my do's, I said use just great photos. Like that's a given. Make sure that they are high resolution, they are crisp, they are clear, they're expressing the message that you want them to express. And
do a little research about cameras. If you don't understand what like resolution and stuff like that is, just do a little bit of research. It's pretty easy. And
you know what? If you're in that position where you are just awful at photos and you've taken my iPicky training series, which is in my, go into my playlists, you'll find the whole photo training series. But if you've taken that and you're still just not getting it, you're still not good at it, then my recommendation is to utilize stock photos. Or if you don't particularly have enough photos of your products or enough ways to show your products, use stock photos. The number one stock photo sites I recommend, somebody type these into the comments. I know that Amber knows all of them. I know that all of our Handmade Alpha Academy students know them. So if you guys want to help out, put those in the comments. Pexels.com, Pixabay.com, love Pixabay, and Unsplash.com. So Pexels, Pixabay, and Unsplash. Those are my absolute favorites. Thank you, Amber. And then Pixabay and Unsplash.
Pexels is what I used for our banner, right? To get the background.
Yeah. No, you use Pixabay. You use Pixabay. Yeah.
I can't remember which one I used.
So you can always use those stock photos if you need extra photos, if you need inspiration, if you just don't have enough photos of your product. There are so many great photos. People constantly upload new photos. They're completely royalty free. You don't have to worry about getting in trouble for using them. They are just out on the open air for anyone to grab and use. Okay?
And if you do, they have all the licensing information that you can get right off of their site and send to whoever claims it.
Right. So another big common problem that I see, absolutely don't use text or a font that blends into the background of the photo that you use. I see so many. God, yeah. It's so hard. I see so many sellers that throw this font on top of, we'll say like a green tree, and there's all these leaves, and then the font is just blending in there. And I've been in that position where no color makes that font stand out. And if that's the case, you either need to reposition that text somewhere else, crop that photo into a different position so that you can make sure that that text is legible, or just use a different photo, because regardless, if you can't see what the message is behind that photo, there's no point in using it anyways. If people are saying, hey, I can't read this, or maybe you post it in the Handmade Alpha Facebook community and you just want to get some opinions and you say, hey, can you guys read this? What does this ad photo, what do you guys think of this? And everyone says, hey, that's a great photo, but I can't read it. This makes things really, really difficult. And that's going to completely change depending on people's brightness on their monitors. That's one thing that I keep my monitor relatively bright. And there are some photos that I can't even read them at all. So make sure that you're just being very, very aware.
I use a white image and then fade it out on some pictures for text.
That's a great idea too, where you can take in iPicky, you can take a white square. What I like to do is take a white square, cover my entire photo with that white square, and then just kind of fade it out just enough so that you can really, really see that font.
Contrast is very important.
Exactly. And you can do all of that with iPicky.
And never use Comic Sans, for God's sake. I see that a lot.
Not just Comic Sans.
Don't use basic text.
Google fonts no one likes. Google fonts no one likes.
And don't use them.
Don't use them ever for any reason whatsoever.
There's thousands of fonts out there.
Fonts no one likes. And some of those fonts are on iPicky. So make sure that you're Googling that, because those are fonts that you should avoid like the plague, because you don't want to turn into something that everyone's just laughing at, just because you used a goofy font. So always make sure that your fonts are simple. Cursive fonts, yeah, they're pretty, they're trendy, but sometimes they're not good for getting a message across. They're cool for monograms and maybe like a wooden sign that you create for your home, but make sure, oh man, we already got them coming in. Make sure that we that you use a font that's legible. Usually you don't want to use a cursive font unless it's very, very, very clear. Make sure that you're using something that's bold, that's minimalistic, because ultimately what you want people to do is quickly glance at that text, be able to know exactly what it says, and then you want them to focus in on the photo, okay? So
I definitely used papyrus font for my first logo. Stop it.
Oh, I think I remember. I think I remember that from your old logo, because I had one of your original like old soul artisan candles that you sent me. I think it was the peach one, which I loved, by the way. That was like one of my favorite candles. So, but anyway. Where am I? I'm so sick, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. And then the next thing that goes along with that is don't litter your entire photo with text. In fact, most of my ad photos that I publish, I either don't put any text on it at all. I let the photo do the speaking for me.
Because it should be able to.
Right. Or I put one really strong word. For example, no, not that kind of strong. Okay, so for example, I used an ad photo for last year's holiday collection. And I think that the word that I picked was, I did one that was, I think I did breathtaking on one, and it just showed one of my keys. Black background, just the key. It just said breathtaking. I think I did one that said powerful, and it had like I think it had like a big dragon on it. So there's so much that you can say with just one word, and you know, people read it, but then they go on to read that caption. If they're truly interested in what this is, they'll move on to read that caption. So you don't want to try to say everything that you want to say in that photo. The photo itself should be doing that. You don't need to litter the entire photo with text. It's not a poster where you need to put like, oh, sale this Friday at my Etsy shop. Here's the link right on the picture. Use this coupon code to claim X%. You don't need to do all that. That's what the caption is for. You could just put the picture of the product and say, you know, flash sale on it, and then put all the information in the actual photo description. That's what it's for. So make sure that you're not littering your photos with too much text, or text that is going to just take over all of the photo. In fact,
like that.
Yeah. So in fact, the rule of thumb and what is acceptable if you're going to promote on Facebook is 20%. Hello, Peacock and Fig. 20%.
Sorry.
And if you Google Facebook text overlay tool, they will tell you what percentage of text that you have on that photo. That way you can make sure that it's actually reaching people, because Facebook will cut the reach if there's too much text on that photo for their paid photo ads. So if you plan to boost posts, pay for any type of promotions, just make sure that you are actually trying to make, you know, 20% is like the most that you should, you know, aim for with your actual text on photos. Any more than that, and it just kind of takes over the entire picture. What was I going to say? Oh, another big one. Don't push your call to action below the fold. Does anybody know what that means? If I were saying, you know, I'm coaching you on Facebook ads, and I say, okay, don't push your call to action below the fold. Does anybody in the comments know what that means? Pushing your call to action below the fold for a Facebook ad. I can already hear their fingers are typing so fast. Or maybe no one's typing and we just end up sitting here forever.
We can just sit here.
We can just sit here. Stream's over, guys. Nobody knows the answer. Let us know. Does your
advertisement differ from where you publish it? For example, Instagram to Facebook.
Yes, there are differences, and I think that we go over that in our social media for newbies Q&A, which was, I think, in the summer. So maybe go back and watch that one if you need to know the difference.
Got a few answers.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, after the see more, that is correct. So if above the fold is anything that they see before they have to click the thing to expand the post that says see more. So you want to make sure that your call to action, which is where you want them to go, that is the action you want them to take, your call to action. That could be your Etsy shop. It could be your website. It could be a blog post. Whatever you want them to go to, the link, make sure that you're putting that above the fold. And another little pro tip that isn't in our do's and don'ts, make sure that if that link is really long, you're using a site like Pretty Link or Bitly. Bitly is my favorite. I'll go ahead and type that.
Bitly.
Bitly. There we go. Make sure that you're using something like Bitly to make that link tiny so that it's not taking up the entire post, because to me that looks extremely unprofessional. I hate when I see that someone has posted this giant URL that literally takes up 100 characters when they could easily just paste that link into, you know, into Bitly and condense it down a little bit. So I highly recommend doing that. If you're going to be posting links, make sure that they are above the fold, they are clear, you know exactly where to click, you know what you're doing. And one of the big things that I really, really, really hate is when I see an ad for something that I want, like I'm ready to buy it, and I go to click more on that ad.
Do you have to pay for Bitty?
No.
Bitly.
Bitly.
No, it's totally free. It's just a redirect thing.
It takes like 2 seconds to do, like 2 seconds. You paste the link in and it gives you a new one. But I hate when I see an ad for something that I'm ready to buy at that very second, and I click, you know, show more, and there isn't even a link. There's no link. There should always be a link. If you're showing a product that you're selling right now, and it's not something that isn't, you know, for teasers and things that aren't available yet, that's fine. But if it's something that you're advertising that you have right now and you're ready to sell it and there's no link to buy it, I am not going to go to your Facebook page and track down that link. I'm just going to scroll right past it. The moment of opportunity has ceased, and
that person's already made their decision. They're not going to go look for it.
Right, exactly. People are impatient. People are, you know, right when they see something they want it now, and if they can't get it now, they skip right over it. So you need to make sure that that call to action is there. A few customers told me that my ads at the time was confusing because I didn't write my business name, sales code, and dates, and all of the info, even though it was in the caption. They seemed to be annoyed. Then those customers don't know anything about advertising and don't base your advertising over the suggestions of people who don't understand advertising. The thing is,
those won't even be the dumbest suggestions you'll ever get. You'll get some stupid recommendations.
The thing is, you need to make sure, because there are a lot of people that are going to give you suggestions, but not all of those people are basing those suggestions as a buyer, for one, or as someone who's actually going to, you know, make up the majority of your market. I get suggestions all the time from my customers. Hey, you should make chokers. You should make bracelets. You should make earrings. You should make lock necklaces. You should make this, that, and the other. And guess what? I don't take those suggestions, because when I have, and I've spent money making these products that people have asked me to make, nobody buys them. I'm known for skeleton keys. That's what sells. That's all I make. That's how I make a living. So that's all I'm going to make. I'm not going to do what my customers suggest if that suggestion is not backed by fact. So you do not have to take all of your customers' suggestions. Consider them. If you see like 1,000 people comment something on a post that say, hey, you should be doing this, maybe take it into consideration. But 1 or 2 people out of a sea of, you know, hundreds or thousands, acknowledge it, but you don't have to act on it, especially when there's, you know, it's probably pretty likely that you know more about your market than that person does. Okay. You don't have to take all feedback and criticism seriously. If that was the case, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be wearing makeup. My hair would be shorter. My hair wouldn't be colorful. Our wall wouldn't be black. He wouldn't be here. Nobody likes him, apparently.
No.
They especially hate his shirts and his voice, and they hate my voice.
I don't care, though.
And
That's
I'm
the problem.
and
Neither of us do.
Right. And you know, we don't take things like that seriously because they don't make a majority of our market.
We run our businesses how we like to run them, and that's how you should run yours.
Right. And not just
as long as it's not what you're doing isn't dumb.
Right. It's not just like how you like to run it, but what makes sense, what's working, what is based on fact and psychology for the most part, which is exactly why we have the Handmade Alpha Academy for those of our alphas who actually want or, you know, wanted to learn about psychology and how to incorporate that into marketing, which, you know, when you incorporate those two things together, you see results, which is why our alphas are making like thousands of dollars on their launches. But Alpha Academy is not open, and I said I wasn't going to talk about it. So
people are such buttheads sometimes. Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah. And the replays is the worst for us. So just don't take everything, you know, too seriously. All right. Are we ready for the next one for everyone who's writing it down? Don't focus on the products benefits, or not so much the benefits, but its features. Don't focus on product features. You can do that every once in a while. You can talk about the product features. You can do that in your listings. But when it comes to advertising, people don't want features. People don't buy the features. The features are a nice added touch. But if you were to watch a TV ad for Coca-Cola and there was just a guy holding a Coke and he says, it's brown and it's bubbly and it's sweet and it's delicious and you're going to love it. Who's going to be like, yeah. No, nobody is going to agree with that. Coke, when you see a Coke commercial, what they usually have is a bunch of people having a great time and partying and, bunch of kids, sitting in the back of a pickup truck, watching the sunset, laughing. And then at the end, they're all holding Coke bottles.
And they don't ever mention it. They never mention. Sometimes they don't even they're not even holding Coke products.
Coke?
Sometimes it's just a huge commercial with nothing in it.
And then a logo at the end.
And then at the end, they're like, Coke.
Right. So.
And they work. They obviously work.
Right. Because you know what? Coke doesn't sell Coke. Back when they first started, they sold Coke. What Coke sells now is the feeling that we associate with Coke. Because when you see those ads with people laughing and having fun, that is what Coke is selling. They're trying to sell that. They don't need to talk about all the product features that their product
knows
has.
What Coke is.
Right. And the thing is, you don't have to market your products. Like if you're marketing a blanket, you don't need to use a bunch of text to describe that blanket. It is 6 feet by 4 feet, and it is yarn and handmade and comfortable and warm. You don't need to do that. Nobody cares. If they care, they'll go read your listing. What you want to do is instead show a picture of a baby snuggled in that blanket and, looking all cute, because people are going to see that and they're going to think, they're going to associate baby with cozy and cuddly, and it's going to give them those warm, fuzzy feelings inside. And then if they're interested and if your ad did its job, then they're going to go to your listing and read the product details. Don't you do it. Bubbers is sitting up on top of the computer.
He doesn't have anywhere to go. He wants me to move stuff.
Hold on. Come on. The whole camera might shake because the cat weighs like 35 pounds. He's a fat cat. Yeah. Starla gets so fired up about them. I do.
It's off topic, but what's the green white plush? That's a Cthulhu.
Oh, I just stepped on the dog. She was right under my feet. Another really fun brand to follow. These are in the Handmade Alpha Academy, in the Handmade Alpha Facebook community, which is the free one, linked down below. In the file section, I believe I have Squishables linked because I love their marketing. Let me grab him.
Come here, fatty.
I'm coming. What?
Shut up.
Kidding. Squishables. They make foxes and all kinds of cute creatures. This was a Cthulhu though, but we've had him forever.
He's cocking his head at me.
Yes, help him down.
I will help you, sir.
This broadcast will continue as soon as the fat cat gets off of the computer. Bubbers. There he is. There. There's the Bubbers. All right.
Nope.
Hello. Come here. Come on. Not you. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one while the cat decides where. Oh, he's so heavy. The next don't. Are you guys ready? Everyone got your pins? Don't clutter your ad photo with too much. Now, we've already covered text, but you didn't even want on my lap. Come on now.
No, he wants on the little black thing.
Oh, okay. We have a stool down here. Don't clutter. There's another one. They're everywhere. Don't clutter your ad photo with too much. And that doesn't just mean text. It means too much everything. If you're taking like a styled photo and you just literally throw in, I'm going to throw in a leaf and a crown and a rock and a flower and a caterpillar. You just throw all these items into the photo and I'm looking at it and I'm saying, what the heck is this person trying to sell me?
If I have to read the description to figure out what part you're selling, that's a problem.
Like what are they trying to sell me? Are they selling the rocks? What are they selling?
Time is precious.
So make sure that you're not over cluttering your photos. In fact, one of the most beneficial things that I can recommend for your ad photos is to leave a lot of empty space. That space could have nothing in it. It could be, for example, if you make, we'll just say eyeshadow. We'll say you make handcrafted eyeshadows and you want to do one of the photos where like the eyeshadow is kind of crushed, crushed laying out. You might crush that eyeshadow and lay it out and lay a little makeup brush beside it and then put a rose in the picture. And that's it. The rest of the photo can be white. People like to see that white space because not only does it really focus on what the item is, it doesn't make us feel claustrophobic, which there is a lot of psychology behind feeling claustrophobic when it comes to photos. Once again, there's an entire huge hour-long lesson on that in the Handmade Alpha Academy, so I'm not going to get too far into it. Otherwise, it's just going to take too long. But just know that white space, open space, nothing there, that is okay. You just want to make sure that the person that's looking at the photo knows exactly what you're trying to sell them. Let's see. Less is more. Exactly. Less really is more. So we have one last tip, and then we're going to get into questions. You guys are free to ask whatever you want, whether they pertain to the topic or not. That's fine. But my bonus, my very last little tip, and a lot of people don't know this, is that when you are advertising on Facebook in particular, Instagram too, you should make sure that your photos are always a perfect square. And this is because I don't know if you've scrolled through and seen like BuzzFeed videos or tasty videos with, where they show you how to cook. They're always cropped into a perfect square. This is because photos and videos that display as a perfect square are at the optimal size to be viewed on any device. On cell phones, which is where a majority of social media marketing or social media interactions take place, is on mobile, and on desktop. They display the very biggest. So always make sure that you're cropping your images into a square. If you notice on the Starla and the Handmade Alphas Facebook page, all of our Friday Q&A posts, every picture that I post, for Art by Starla Moore, my own Facebook, page for my business, they're always in a square because this is what's going to display the very best. I can pick up my phone right now. Let's see. Let me go to Facebook and I'll just scroll. Okay, let's see. Here is just a random post by a page and it's a square. All of the pictures that you scroll through on Facebook,
The good ones.
are squared except for your band page.
That was a banner that I updated, so let's try though.
There's
our main picture is a square. Thank you very much.
It is. Let's see. Okay. In exactly 4 months, it's Christmas Eve. Look, this video is a square. They're squares. I wonder why. Everything's in a square. It's because squares display the best. They have the best reach. You're going to see the most engagement.
You don't have to zoom in to see it. The whole video is on there, whether it's your phone or on your computer. As you scroll past it, the whole video is portrayed instead of a portion of it that you have to click on to zoom in.
It's hip to be square. It is. Be a square. Be squares like us. All right, guys. This is the end of our topic. So if you don't want to ask questions or you're sick of hearing us talk, you are free to leave. But if you guys have questions and you want to chat, let us know. What do you guys want to know? Tell us. Let us know. Good info on square display. I had no idea. And you know what? I see this a lot in Instagram photos. I use an app called, what's it called? When I have a photo that will not show everything unless it is a square, unless it is horizontal or vertical. Like maybe I take a lot of pictures of my keys in my hands. For those who don't know, I sell key necklaces, and I'll take it, in like a landscape position, and it doesn't really display well. I use an app called PhotoGrid. Here, I've got an example right. Here it is. PhotoGrid. It's just called PhotoGrid. Can you guys kind of see it? There it goes. PhotoGrid. And I use their grid option. Here's a picture of Bubbers. I'll show you guys a quick preview. And what it does, is it kind of adds like a white border to the edges of the photo so that it shows at a square. But I also use a setting on here called blur that will blur out the edges of that photo. And I know that you can't really see this very well, but if you go to my Instagram account, which is Starla K, the letter K Moore, I'll go ahead and type that in, Starla K Moore. You can see how I crop all of my photos into squares, even if they're not. And that's my personal Instagram, not my business Instagram, but I do post like motivational stuff and book recommendations.
How do you make a video that was shot as a rectangle into a square?
There are a lot of different programs that you can use. Off the top of my head, I actually can't remember the names of any of them, but you should just be able to Google turn
video into a square.
Turn video into a square. You can also just shoot those videos on with Instagram, and they'll automatically show up as a square. That's what I do. I like to just shoot a quick video, like panning over my products. I'll do that and then post that video to Instagram, but then it's automatically saved on my phone, so I can go and post it to all my other social medias.
Premiere can make square videos.
Awesome. Perfect.
Just crop it down. That's what I imagine. Well, we're upgrading to that to later today. So
yeah, just follow you on
Pro.
Instagram. How did I miss this? I don't have a lot of Instagram followers on my personal account because I don't really, it's not, I mean, it's just personal. You know, I do give a lot of book recommendations and, you know, just like motivational jazz. I do.
PhotoGrid is the name of the app.
PhotoGrid. Oh yeah. PhotoGrid. I did want to point out while if you guys are thinking of more questions, I started a challenge last week where I'm trying to do like 1, 2, 3 things a week that scare me. And I'm encouraging you guys to do the same. If you want to keep up with some of the challenges that I've posted already, you can go into my Instagram account, into my story highlights. Someone just followed me. Thank you, Our Creation and Styles. But if you go into my story highlights, you'll see, where is it? These right here. The one with the little dumbbell is my challenge highlight. And I also have a more in-depth description over here in my IGTV. If you guys want to join in on that challenge, I just haven't been able to keep up with it this week. I've been in bed almost all week sick. I've been working from bed because I've been so sick. And then on top of all that, I had an allergic reaction that was all over my body, which there's a really nasty picture of that.
And I had a lot of people follow me on Instagram too. Sorry that it's so boring. I don't ever post on Instagram.
You haven't posted in like 2 years since we moved from California. I don't think so. I don't think I posted anything.
I'm looking at the Whole30 diet. Any thoughts of it? Never heard of it.
Whole30 diet. Yeah, we would need to know a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd have to know more about it. If it's a specific name diet, it's probably not for me.
For those, usually when it comes to diets with names, it's
I'm old fashioned.
Here's the thing, it's not a diet. Diets don't work, lifestyles work. So it's not about doing a diet. Diets are temporary. It's about changing your entire lifestyle. It's like for the people who do keto, you don't say, oh, I lost X amount of pounds on the keto diet and I only
like paleo. Then
right.
I'm not about it.
Right.
It's a nutritional detox. Then I'm definitely not about it because detoxing is kind of BS. I won't get into that here because I don't want to upset anybody.
Right. And I mean,
did go to school for this stuff, so it's not that I'm just saying it because I don't like it, but honestly, traditional just changing your diet, quit drinking pop in general if you can't.
Even
switch to diet. You should. Keto is for epileptics. Keto, I mean, it's also for the professional industry as well, but we won't get into all that.
If you guys have dietary questions, email us at starla@handmadealphaacademy.com. If you want, like, you know, what'd you go to school for? I always forget, like, the technical.
Exercise science.
And we used to bodybuild. If you guys want to go through my story.
I was on a team. My coach was Mr. Olympia, all that stuff. Like, I'm a chubby boy now, but we've been through that in the past. But we did have a question up here.
All right.
Basically, someone said, how often should you advertise?
How often? You should advertise always. Advertising doesn't always mean that you're trying to sell something. Advertising, what it does is it secures your spot in the mind of the person that you most want to appeal to. So don't always focus on advertising a item. Don't always advertise the product. Advertise the feeling. Advertise the lifestyle. Advertise the lifestyle that your ideal customer wants to have. You have the solution to the problem that they want to solve for themselves. They want to be a part of your lifestyle. My favorite example of this is Clean and Dirty Skincare with Paula Haas. Let me type this out. Follow her on Instagram right now and you will see an example. DRTY. Follow her on Instagram right now. You will see a perfect example of how to advertise. She's one of our Handmade Alpha Academy students, and she has been killing advertising forever. She is fantastic, and her ads show exactly what they should. It doesn't just showcase a product. It showcases a lifestyle that her ideal customer wants to have. For me, I sell my fantasy keys. My target audience, they're the types of people who are involved with fantasy and, Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and dragons, and they read a lot, and they're the kids that everyone thought were just nerds in high school, but now they're, you know, they're adults now, and they've grown, and they realize that it's okay to be who they are. So I don't just share pictures of my products. I share pictures of, you know, for example, if I see a video on Facebook of a really, you know, cool architecture, like some cool like dragon robotic steampunk thing. I'm actually thinking of a very specific thing in my head. It probably doesn't make any sense to you guys, but if I see something like that on Facebook, I share it on my page. You can share posts from other pages if you don't have any content that day, but you see something that will relate to your target audience, share it. Think more about the person as opposed to the product, because ultimately the result of sticking in the mind of this person and them seeing you frequently is that when it comes time to buy whatever it is that you sell, you'll be the first person that they think of because you will have claimed that spot in their mind.
Magically Eclectic said, I'm wanting to make an instructional DVD for the DIY kits I'm creating. Do you have any suggestions for an affordable video camera? Not offhand. And also, if you're going to, I honestly wouldn't do DVDs. I would probably either host it online, like on its own webpage, or make it like a downloadable file that you send them a link for, like after they purchase. DVDs are kind of a waste of money. You'd be surprised how few, you're not typing anything anywhere.
Oh.
You'd be surprised how many people don't have the ability to watch even DVDs anymore because kind of disc data's kind of died out. Obviously, if they have a PlayStation or something like that, it's just more of a hassle. And I know one of the thoughts is that, you know, they won't particularly know how to do it online, but they're on Etsy and they're buying your product. So if they can't figure that out, then that's a lost cause anyway. I wouldn't do DVDs. It's kind of a waste of money.
Oh yeah.
But as far as video cameras, no, I don't know any off the top of my hand. If you have a decent cell phone, you could probably even shoot it with that. Instead of buying a camera, buy yourself a gimbal and a stand that'll keep your phone completely stationary. Like if you're moving around with it, just buy a gimbal to put your phone on and record in like our phones record in 4K. So
yeah, other than our Friday lives, we record all of our videos on my phone, and I have
about my business
Google
YouTube
Pixel
channel.
too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just send people, just, you know, host it there and then send it the link to people online. Like when they place an order, if you're doing the SSAR style, just shoot that like in your thank you. You can say, here's the instructions for how to use them, that kind of thing.
Melinda, I'm not going to answer that question. My alphas are free to answer that for you. I don't really have an opinion. I don't really care for the way that they treated some of my customers. So it's not an opinion that I've forged out of experience.
Yeah, we're becoming more popular, so we have to be careful with the things that we say.
We'll just say that I prefer Etsy rank because I don't want to get into that. Our alphas who had negative experiences, if they want to share that with you, that's on them.
Yeah, that's totally fine. We can't put ourselves out there like that now that we associate with Etsy rank.
Right. And it's not, and we're not affiliates.
We're not affiliates. We just have a preference, and he's a friend of ours. So we have to be careful.
And we don't just support him because he's a friend. That's my tool of choice. That's why he's a friend. So just so you guys know.
Does PhotoGrid work for Androids? Ours is an Android.
Yes.
I just started SSAR and I love you.
Oh yeah. Awesome. We actually got an email today. We haven't gotten to open it, but we had an email today of someone saying that she used our SSARs and got her first 5-star review.
Go buy and consume things, guys. The bankers will love you for it. Beastie Goy. I'm going to assume you're a spammer.
Okay. Anyway, do you guys have any questions? Any relevant questions? Ow!
You're not a very good shit poster, Beastie Goy.
Yeah.
Get good, scrub. I'm about to release my first product line. Do I hold a grand opening sale or just let the marketing drive initial sales?
Yeah, I mean, you could do, I wouldn't do a sale like you want to put things on discount. Don't put things on discount that you just released. You need to market that at like
give it a minute.
Right. You want to squeeze the juice out of that collection. Just market it as your initial release. He is attacking my foot for no reason. I use both Marmalade and Etsy rank, like both, use them for different research. I've heard that too. What is SAR? It's SSAR. And
let's say SAR is a disease that rampaged Asia.
SSAR. If you go back into my older videos, there's a video called 4 Messages to Send Your Etsy Customers. Watch that if you don't know what those are.
Last name is Loop.
And I plan to actually create, I'm not going to be sending those files by email anymore, guys. So if you don't already have them, I'm not going to be sending those by email because I'm going to be creating a new training series for those that will be free, that will kind of teach everyone how to use them, people who don't already have them. But I want to make sure that I do a video to go along with it because I know that there's a lot of confusion.
We should just create a Drive download link for that so people can.
I'm going to.
Just download it because I get like 15 of those emails a day.
Yeah, I'm going to be making a very special series. But until that's done, I'm not going to be sending those anymore because like he said, we're getting like 15 emails a day. It's taking up a lot of time being able to send, all those files. So.
All right. When do you recommend starting teasers for Christmas line? I'm excited about mine and I want to do it, but it's too early.
It's never too early. Just space them out. If you start now, space them out. I usually start mine at the end of October after everyone is done being excited about Halloween. Once everyone's done with the Halloween, it's like Thanksgiving is almost like mini Christmas where you practice how to cook, but you're still excited about Christmas. I like to promote all through November because ultimately you want people to be buying in November. If you don't think that you're going to get a lot of sales or enough sales in November through whatever your deadline is in December, which we'll be doing a video on that soon, but I would definitely recommend maybe mid-October if you don't already have the fan base that's going to support only marketing for a month. And we're also going to have a Black Friday Q&A very, very soon in this holiday prep series. Black Friday is our best time of year. We usually make about, I think we made
it's between $5,000 and $10,000. It just depends on the year.
Yeah, we make between $5,000 and $10,000 on Black Friday alone. So
it depends on how many things we make. That's honestly, the more we make, the more money we make. Sometimes we just like last year. She was working on the academy, didn't have time, so we only made about 5.
I do have some only $5,000 in a day. We do have a Black Friday training on our channel from last year, though. If you guys are interested in going and watching that to kind of get you gamed up, but we will also have a Q&A for that.
Would you recommend paid advertising or giveaways for building a following? Which have you had better luck with?
Personally, giveaways is what I've had better luck with. If you join the Handmade Alpha VIPs, which is linked down below, you can get my free ebook, which explains exactly how I gained 25,000 fans on Facebook by hosting giveaways. Giveaways are my favorite method. Paid ads work too, but you have to consider that when you get people entering like a giveaway, yeah, you're going to get a few people who just want the free thing, but most people who are entering your giveaway want your products. Like they like your products. And if they don't win your product, it's almost a good chance to send out, an email or a sale for everybody who didn't win and say, hey, for everyone who didn't win, you guys can use this coupon code and get, X% off for the next 3 days. Thank you for entering, yada, yada, yada. And this kind of what a sale is meant to do is give people like an opportunity to test your products before they commit to the full price. So I like to kind of send out like a thank you to everybody who entered with a really, really good discount. That way, they're more likely to buy. And I tend to make more sales that way than I do with a paid ad.
Let's see here. There was a question. Blah, 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 blah. What is a good beginner video program app for product feature? I've never done anything video. We use Premiere Elements. It sucks, but we used just the stock window editing
movie
stuff,
maker.
And that sucks more butt. So honestly, we recommend just going balls to the wall, or I do. I would just start with Premiere Pro. They have them pay by monthly, which is like $20 a month.
And if that's too expensive, just get Premiere Elements, play around with it, and upgrade when you need to.
It's a good way to learn the basics of Premiere. Our videos are so long that the audio syncing isn't super good, so it requires a lot more. It's not harder, but it requires a lot more time to actually sit and edit the videos out.
Right.
So,
Premiere Elements should be all you need, though. How much is Premiere Elements? It's like $60.
I don't even know if they still sell it, to be honest with you. Yeah. I can't even find any tutorials or help on it. So Premiere Pro is just easier. Would you bring people who are in t-shirt business as your guest maybe next time?
It's not about what you sell, it's about like what you can teach.
Yeah, it's about what you can offer.
Right. We don't bring guests on that don't have like, something to teach.
Yeah.
So you have to have something that you can teach that's valuable.
Let's see here. Sorry, off topic slightly, but MailChimp won't
When is Black Friday again? Day after Thanksgiving.
Like 3 people have already answered that. That's why I didn't read it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, off topic slightly. MailChimp won't accept my mail.com address. Can Mark recommend where to buy an email from?
Google Domains.
Yeah.
Google Domains.
That's where we get all of ours from, is Google.
Yeah, Google Domains. It's like $5 to $10 a month. Totally worth it. You get a professional email. For example, my email address is starla@handmadealphaacademy.com, but it's run through Gmail. So rather than having Starla at Gmail, it's starla@handmadealphaacademy.com. Google Domains is my very, very favorite, though.
I don't quite understand your question.
Do you pay the gift wrap with free shipping?
I think she's talking about a giveaway.
Oh, giveaway with free shipping. Yes, all expenses paid. Sonia, you're at Handmade Alpha Academy, so you'll be learning about giveaways like super duper in depth in module 9. Module 9. Somebody who's finished HAA, let me know down in the comments. I think it's module 9. You'll be learning a really in-depth strategy for giveaways in module 9. So don't even worry about getting my free ebook. What you're going to learn is like that on overdrive. But yes, I always don't make your giveaway winner pay the shipping. I hate that. That is like one of the biggest turnoffs to me ever. If you're going to do a giveaway, make sure that your all expenses paid.
Yeah, absolutely. Is your 25,000 fan giveaway training in Alpha University? It's Alpha Academy.
Alpha Academy. And yes,
we get
I think I pretty much just said this in Sonia's answer.
Just ignore my question.
Okay. Okay. But if you want a more simplified version, I do have my free ebook linked down below. Join the Handmade Alpha VIPs. I send it immediately. Or if you go to handmadealphaacademy.com, there's a new pop-up. I made a new pop-up. It pops up and it asks you if you want my ebook, and you enter your details, and then it immediately sends. Yay!
I made the mistake to grow my Facebook page with business train followers. Now I know how bad that was. I'm struggling with gaining members for my target market. Should I start a new page?
What I would do, leave your other page active. If you know that nobody on that page is valuable, nobody's in your target market, it's just other makers that you did through ladders. Ladders will kill your business or your social media reach. What I would recommend is making that new page, but then make a post on the old page that says, "Hey, everybody, I decided to make a new page. If you're interested in my products, please go here to like it." But post something like that for like a month. Maybe schedule them all at the same time, but every day, like post something, go like my new page, go like my new page, go like my new page. And then you'll make sure that the people who matter, who are actually interested, will go over and like the new page. So
kind of off what's being discussed today, but do you have a replacement video for getting an Etsy shop started? Previous ones say outdated.
I actually do not. Yeah, those previous ones are from like 5 years ago or 3 or 4 years ago. They're very old. And though some of the content is still technically like usable, the problem is Etsy's layout has changed. None of it, and my SEO strategies for that don't work anymore. Ultimately, I mean, I could make a video series like that, but getting on Etsy, a lot of that is just what I teach on my channel in individual videos.
Yeah.
You know, you go onto Etsy, you sign up, you make your account, and then start watching my videos, like the iPicky training series for your ad photos. Trainings. Right. It's basically the same thing that I taught in that very, condensed series. You can find all of those elements scattered throughout my page, So I would definitely just do it that way and tackle one task a day.
I'm making jewelry inspired by a band and plan to send band member photos with each purchase. Should I advertise that or keep it a surprise? Do you have their permission to do that?
Yeah, you got to make sure that you have their permission to do that, because some bands will.
I've been in a lot of them and they like money, so just be careful with that.
Yeah, just make sure that it's okay.
Should I advertise it or keep it a surprise?
I would wait until you see their response before you do anything, and then you could maybe like advertise it after the fact and say like, "Hey, I sent these to this band." What band, first of all?
It's a common thing within their fan base.
Oh, okay.
Then yeah.
Okay, just
I mean, that's totally up to you. I
and
mean,
keep
if
in
you-
mind, it's not just the band; it's like the record label and stuff that also holds some of those rights. So you need to be careful.
And if you advertise it, keep in mind that you're obligated to provide those. So if you keep it a surprise and you just include it as a bonus with what you're sending, then you're not necessarily obligated to include that. If for some reason you run out of pictures or something happens, yeah. And then Rainy Craze. I'm a graphic designer, also in the HA community. I could give a hearty beginner lesson in design on branding, as some shopkeepers are earning my harsh judgment.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
we're always open to guests. It's just we have to do it at times that are like,
And it has to be, we have to
convenient.
discuss it personally because we have to make sure that everything's, yeah. you
Right.
get it.
We had, I'm not going to say the guest or the video, but we had a little bit of backlash about one of our guests, and someone told us that it reflects badly on us, and we did need to take note of that, you know. So
Yes, we got to be a little more careful in the future. It's not that we don't trust people; it's just that we have to have time to do our research beforehand.
right,
A little
because
bit more than we did before.
right, and you know, we need to be able to approve the content that goes out
Mhm.
before. Which unfortunately in that case I didn't, but I was able to add a disclaimer in the video that said that I had not verified the content from that individual. So
That was an oopsie poopsie. It happens.
Oopsie. Anyway.
Any more questions? We got like 5 minutes.
Yep, 5 minutes, last minutes for questions. I am trying to decide what to do with my hair, guys. I'm going to be dyeing it again. I'm giving it a break because as you can see, it's really funky. The orange has faded. It's turning very blonde, but I want to do something different with it. But it's really, really dead at the end because we've got a hot tub and my hair gets fried really, really bad. I'm trying to decide how I want to cut it. And he won't let me shave half my head, which is what I was going to do.
I hate that. My least favorite haircut. Hate it.
I was going to shave, do like a half shave. I think I'm just going to go back
She
to,
just wants to sleep on the couch for a while.
I think I'm going to go back to bangs. I think I'm going to cut like all this off and just do like my little emo chick bangs again. I think that was my favorite of all my hair. My bangs have just gotten really long. So that is what I'm trying to decide this week. Oh, thank you.
Unicorn Bob.
Unicorn Bob. I don't know what that is. I'll have to Google it.
If common within fan base, fan label likely okay, but make sure it's common okay to sell versus just making. However, with photos, photographer will also have rights.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. I love the red color. I had an undercut once and it was terrible to regrow. Never again.
I've heard that too. I've heard that it takes forever to regrow.
I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it on guys or girls. I don't think it looks good on anybody.
I like
personally.
it. Natural hair color. Nope.
It just makes me think that every time our steak comes out when we go to a steak restaurant that you're going to send it back and ask for the manager.
Can I talk to the manager haircut?
And then complain when somebody calls you ma'am.
Don't call me ma'am. I'm not. I felt, you know what?
Start wearing shirts that just say SJW across the front.
The first time I got called ma'am, I was like,
the hell?
like,
I know. I still have people call me sir from time to time, even though like I'm closer to 30 than 20, and it still bugs me.
Hey guys, I hate this time of year. My sales have dropped, even though I'm advertising. How are your sales? That doesn't matter how our sales are compared to yours. The thing is, when it comes to sales, it's going to completely depend on your product, on your niche, on your photos, on your advertising. It doesn't, you can't grip onto things like that because I could say my sales are fine and that would depress you. You know, it's not about how my sales are. It's about how my sales are during a certain time of year. During the summer, my sales aren't that great. But for someone who sells flip-flops, their sales are fantastic, you know? So don't weigh yourself against other people, okay? Make sure that you're looking at your industry and how likely it is that someone's going to buy at that time. When people come to me and they say, I'm not selling, all that tells me is that they have stopped trying to figure out why. Like they are just sitting there upset that they're not making sales and they're playing the waiting game. Just make sure that you're actually looking at the problems that could be there. Okay. Cut would be cute. Yeah. I don't want to do, it's really cold in Ohio. So, and he doesn't like short hair on
here in Lancaster.
I've got a big head.
Here in Lancashire, ma'am is another word for mother. I mean, ma'am is just kind of a respect term here. Like you say, yes, ma'am, or yes, sir.
Right.
Here. 2 minutes.
2 minutes, last minute.
Said nope. LMAO, that killed me.
Last few minutes. I just don't want
to. When you're married for a long time, if your spouse is going to do something that cosmetically you don't like, I think the other side should respect that. Like if she didn't like this at all, I would get rid of it.
We have that understanding though. Like there's a difference between a relationship where like the person is restricting you and saying you can't do it. I think that it's okay to say, hey, you can do whatever you want, but I'm not going to like it. For example, if he wanted to get like, I don't know, a big picture of Ronald McDonald tattooed on his arm, like it's his choice, but I'm not going to like it. I'm going to tell him I'm not going to like that. I'm going to hate that. That is ugly. I'm not going to like that big picture of Ronald McDonald, and it's going to be there forever, and I'm never going to like it.
Yeah, because the other person is looking at you all the time. Yeah.
So I do think,
especially in intense adult moments.
So I always worry that people are going to be like, oh, he doesn't let you do your hair the way you want. He lets me. Yeah, I can do whatever. I could do whatever I wanted, but
I have to sleep with this person. I want her to be something that I can look at, and she wants to be something I can look at.
Ew, we don't do that.
Yeah, we do.
Our baby was brought to us by the stork.
Yeah, I'm sure. There's a lot of chit chat in the Handmade Alpha Facebook about Etsy promotions. How much time should you give the promotions to kick in?
Well, the standard is 60 days.
Yeah, 30 to 60 days.
And if it's not kicking in, it means that you need to be looking at things like your thumbnails and your SEO. Those are the main areas that you need to focus on if, you know, for some reason your paid or your promoted listings aren't really kicking in. Don't go like crazy with those bids either. If you're doing bids, start at like 2 to 5 cents, you know, start low. And if you decide that it's working for you, work your way up. I saw somebody say that they were paying like $2 per click or something ridiculous like that. Don't do that. That is too much. It's too much. There's no saying that person's going to buy.
When you write your holiday shipping dates, do you account for processing time?
Yeah, I do. We're going to actually do a one of these Q&As for shipping. But I usually add a few days. I have a holiday deadline, and then I stack like 5 days on top of that. So the deadline that USPS gives, and then 5 to 10 days on top of that. 10 for international, 5 for US. That's what I do. That's what's, you know, always worked for me. And then I never ever guarantee that it'll make it on time. You know, I always like throw in mail delays are possible, because during the holidays things are crazy. So even if somebody pays for next day shipping, there is no promising that it's going to arrive next day. No promising.
All right, that's it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, for dealing with our pets. They're all taking naps now, for dealing with my sickness, my nasaliness. Feel free to join the Handmade Alpha Facebook community. It is linked down below. Do it. And feel free to join the Handmade Alpha VIPs, which is my email list, which is where I send you notifications about live streams and freebies. And right when you join, you get my free ebook, which covers how to gain a fanatical following of fans on Facebook. We are going tonight to see Alpha. Yay! So I'll let you guys know next week how that movie turns out to be. For those who aren't aware, it's a wolf movie called Alpha. I have to go see it, so we're going tonight. All right, guys, I'll let you know how that is next week. See you later. Bye.
Goodbye.